You're watching San Francisco's favorite nightly news, Fox 25.
Being Shauna primarily and talking about a story we've been following for a while about should nonviolent criminals be incarcerated? These drug offenders, money launderers, fraud and embezzlement, they're being incarcerated and they're taking our tax money. Tax has been on a constant incline for years, and it will continue to be if we don't do something about it. The problem is, should we be focusing on crime rates or the way that we're dealing with these convicts? Back to you, Shauna.
Following a developing story sparked by the ideas of Time magazine's article, 39% of prisoners should not be imprisoned. Yes, hello folks. For many shows we have focused on reasoning as to why crime rates are so high in the United States. But today we are focusing on how to deal with this extreme overcrowding in prisons. Taxpayers are paying more than ever in order to keep up with this high demand for space in prisons. The overhead costs, the cost of 3 meals a day for each inmate, and the cost of the salaries for all doctors, guards, and prison warden on site of each prison in the country. The reason that it's so evident that this problem is serious is that not only are federal prisons full, but so are state prisons, local jails, and some offshore territories.
It has been no secret that for the previous years, the United States has been facing a serious problem in heightening taxes. The question is, why? Overcrowding in prisons. The primary issue is not having enough space for sentenced criminals to serve their sentence. This issue is prohibiting them from continuing on with their life as it takes years to await trial and a spot in prison. These people may need to serve their sentence in different areas of the country and require transportation to that area. The cost of this transportation is what brings us to our real issue, the amount of tax dollars going into prison each year. The United States Department of Education followed this spending and found the shocking fact that prisons are spending triple the money that all public education funding for preschool throughout high school uses across the United States.
Every major newspaper nowadays has had the discussion about whether or not criminals should be incarcerated. What needs to happen is that people need to focus more on who should be in prison for violent crimes and who needs to maybe have a better way of doing it and maybe doing community service or something like that. Time magazine recently published an article that says 39% of prisoners should not be incarcerated. And they're saying that because they aren't violent and they aren't dangerous. What is really happening is that they're wasting our money, they're wasting spots in prison for actual violent criminals, and there's got to be a better system and we need to find it.
Here with ex-convict Elizabeth Sullivan. Elizabeth has recently been released for her drug conviction and she's on parole. The parole rules have recently been strict, prohibiting her to staying in the state, basically in her hometown, and finding a job within a few weeks. Elizabeth, tell us what you think you could have been doing while you were serving your 3 years in prison.
I think I could have been doing much more community service, and instead of being trapped there with all these crazy people, and just cleaning up the streets and helping other people.
This is her younger sister, Christina. Christina had to see her sister go through a very hard time, but when she visited her, she often noticed that Elizabeth had great jobs in the prison. She would drive trucks, she would do cleaning, she would be in the yard. And what did you say about that? You thought that her time would be better spent somewhere else?
Yeah. Taxes rise over the
Don't
years.
Smile.
And
I'm an accountant.
I'm an accountant, and I've seen tax rises over the years, and I think the tax money would be much better spent if these criminals
Like your sister.
like my sister,
Who are just real people.
who are real people. They're not criminals. They're just real people who should be doing construction and building roads.
Shown is one of the very well-written pieces on overcrowding in prison and how to deal with them. These pieces have been in every major magazine in cities, newspapers, and by all authors that are well-respected and deal with incarceration. The Time magazine Ideas and Politics section writes, "Eliminate prison for lower crimes altogether, bearing exceptional circumstances." The fact that they included exceptional circumstances leaves it open to the judge to decide if a non-violent crime is still a threat to society. They also have proposed to reduce current sentence lengths to be more proportional to the crimes committed, meaning that people currently serving their sentence will be reevaluated and potentially have a shorter sentence. Lately, many prisons have been doing mass releases, which is very dangerous and can lead to people not being properly examined or their parole being violated without their parole officer knowing. Because mass releases have been so large, with the highest numbers in San Francisco being 30,000 people in 2017. It is very obvious that some of these criminals could be violent and a threat to society.
You can crop that part. I already started.
We're here with expert Bill Sullivan. Bill, tell us and our viewers how you feel about incarcerating nonviolent criminals. Do you think there's an alternate way for them to serve their sentence while helping the community?
Mairead, I truly feel like there's an alternate way. I believe that that places like Puerto Rico, Florida, and Houston that were devastated with catastrophes this year should have these people working there, rebuilding the communities, and it'll be a great thing.
From all the devastation in Puerto Rico, I just went down there and helped. I'm a nurse, and I went and made sure everything was trying to get back and put together, but the only way that we can help them is to get more people down there to put more time and effort into helping these people.